It's a DJ Devil Pope. I'm here with Matt and James from Dirty Pagans. How are you?
Good mate, how are you?
Not too bad, just cruising along.
Beautiful,
Thank you,
beautiful.
brother. You well?
I guess well, we've introduced you, but do you want to let the fans know what you do in the band?
Yeah, sure. I'll kick it off. I am bass and backing vocals for Dirty Pagans.
And I am lead vocals and some say I play guitar, but you know, I I pick up a stick and pretend at least. So I do play guitar.
Nice. You know, it's a pretty general question, but it's one for this station goes out to the US and Canada in particular, and New York sort of area. That's where the guys are from, the main guys over there in the US that handle the station. So, you know, we sort of ask questions at the bands that we interview. My show is based on Australian and New Zealand metal and rock. So I really focus on that. You know, we don't get enough exposure, I find, outside of Australia and New Zealand sometimes, and that's sort of what I've wanted to do. So, the first question really is, when and how did you guys form the band?
Um, well, Matt and I sort of met in 2016 through a friend of ours, a mutual friend. Um, and pretty much from there, we just got together based around sort of wanting to write music and create this band centered around sort of just riffs and like nice big vocals. Um, to which point I think we've done about that pretty much. I think at least. Uh, what do you reckon, Matt?
Yeah. So firstly, if this goes out for New York, go Knicks. Um, I yeah. So everything James just said, 100%. Then we got Greg in. We had a few guitarists before Greg actually, but they didn't work out. They didn't ever play a show with us or anything. We just jammed with them
Nah.
quite a few times. But then Greg stuck, thankfully. No, I love Greg. And then we had Jared on drums as well. And Jared recently left us last year. And then Gareth has slid in perfectly since then. So we've been rolling for a while, but I also lived out the state for 5 years. So we've been together for nearly 10 years, but really it's only been rolling full time for what, about
Probably
four
half that.
years? Yeah, probably
Mm,
half now.
mm.
So we're finally all in the same state.
Nice. We'll have a question about that at some point because you know, I'm based in Tasmania, so I know how difficult it can be at times to come from other states, especially closer to the west coast and central, compared to the east coast. And coming from down here, you know, we don't get a lot happening outside of our own state at times, which is sad. But we've it's coming along a bit. We've got some people down here that invest a bit of money now, and we get a bit of international exposure as well. Um,
Cool.
what do you consider your biggest influences for the music you write and play?
I mean, at least for me personally, it's probably all the ones that you hear all the time anyway. Be Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, Deep Purple, Dio, Rainbow. Probably Rainbow, big
Nice.
time for myself. Just growing up with Rainbow, with Deep Purple, both of those bands. Just grew up playing all those tracks. First three albums that had Dio in them anyway. Beyond that, gets a little bit. Dio, is Rainbow still Rainbow without Dio? But you know,
True.
that at least for me, that's where I draw a lot of inspiration when writing bass lines or coming up with any sort of riff that I bring forward to the band. Is Steve Harris, Deep Purple, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I pretty much echo those bands. I got probably Judas Priest,
Mm.
a lot of those 80s hair metal bands that are on the wilder side, like Wasp, Dokken. I really like the Chug. Um, so I'm all about that. But yeah, we're pretty much all into the same music, but we all have very different, uh, I guess, bands that we love as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you've released two EPs now and two full lengths with the recent release of Forever High. have things changed, if at all, when you've been writing and recording music?
In like I don't know, in terms of like the song changing after we record it.
What you mean?
Maybe.
We finally played it.
Maybe. There's definitely been times, and Matt will attest to this. He always reckons that every time we jam a song, I change the bass line, which is just a load of shit. I play the exact same way every time I play the song. He just hasn't really listened to the tracks. No, look, they don't change too much, but we could definitely sort of, well, they're always going to become tighter. And I think definitely along with like Forever High and pretty much everything we've recorded, we always like we record it, and then as we play it over time, we might have some ideas to add to it, so we might just do them live. But the recording's always going to be the recording. But maybe we can change things up live, shorten it, extend this, add a bit more gang vocals here than what we recorded. So yeah, we do. The short answer would be yes, we do probably change a bit compared to the recording, which I think personally that's probably just going to, make a different experience between recording and actually coming to see a show. You're still getting the same song, you're just getting a live representation of the track. We might have keys. We have keys in a song. None of us play keys live, so sometimes it's always going to be a little bit different. But me personally, I like seeing that. I grew up with Frank Zappa, so
Nice.
every one of his songs, the man is different. Live, you listen to a recording, and then 3 live shows, it's practically a different track, but it's the same song.
That's my absolute nightmare. I'm structured. I need my structure.
Yeah, I ask questions like that because I found when I've done some of these interviews with bands that I've known for a while, when we had that bit of a break going back to 2020 that really sucked.
Yeah.
It was the process where bands would write and record music changed up so much.
Yeah.
Especially with having to pass music along to people who lived either interstate or so far away that you couldn't even go to their house at that time. Yeah, there was a lot of people telling me that they were using things like Dropbox, sending music through, people listen to it, and then you add your part, and it just changed the way a lot of people did stuff.
Yeah, well, we recorded the family during a bit of that time actually, and that was when Matt was, he was often living in Barrel, doing, I don't know, reporting on sheep and kangaroos struck by cars or something like that. No, he's a very good journalist. He's a very good journalist. I jest. So he would come down, walk into the studio. I'm here to record guitars. Already been recorded, brother.
That is true.
just get in the vocal booth, man. Just get in there and do what you came to do.
I'm glad I paid to bring my guitar back over and at all.
We were like, I don't know if he's coming. He says he's coming today. We don't know when he's going to be here. This is stressing me out. Greg laid it down so then he could just get in the booth. He's only here for 2 days. We need to make it happen. And
that is like there is a pressure in having to lay down a whole album's worth of vocals in 2 days. So
yeah, and he wanted to record guitars as well. I'm like, there's not enough time for both.
Classic.
So we just make it work. We make it work.
Yeah.
Nice. How long did it take to write and record Forever High? And where did you record it?
Matt?
So we have had it up our sleeve for at least over a year recorded, but Jared left us last year, so that kind of threw a spanner in the works of actually getting out there and playing it. So then when Gareth came in, obviously we have to run through it. He's confident, but he got the ultimate trial by fire, and essentially his first shows were with Glenn Hughes. So he he earned his spot very well and under a lot of pressure. So kudos to him for doing that. And yeah, he slid in. Now we've dropped it, and we will be touring it very soon.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So, like, when it came to writing it and structuring it, etc., how long did that take you? Was that done well before that? Last year or whatever it was that you mentioned there.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of the riffs down pat for probably a good year, where we were just jamming the actual music aspect of it, the instrumental aspects of it. Sorry, lyrically, Matt's definitely better at writing, bringing forward a whole song. Myself, the two songs that I brought to, or the few riffs that I brought to this album, I didn't really have any lyrics prepared, so those tracks sat on the shelf, admittedly, for a longer period of time than they should have, until Matt and I, well, I pulled my finger out and we finally actually wrote these lyrics, got these lyrics down. Always had the melody, so there was probably a year of just jamming of me going la 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 into a microphone to these songs with no cohesive lyrics. So yeah, definitely a bit of delay was probably in part due to my lack of writing skills in terms of lyrics. But there just came a day, man, where we just got together and fucking just knuckled them out, punched it out, and then we had lyrics written, started jamming them with the lyrics, singing. So it all came together eventually.
He's being very modest here.
It definitely took too long to, in my opinion, to sort of write some of these tracks, but we got there at the end. I'm proud they're out there. So
I'm like, one, either Tom, you got to be here to get this out of him because he's never said something like this ever in the band. Or two, he's being completely modest in the twice that we've actually met up to write lyrics, because every time we do, we either drink too much beer or there's too much pressure to write the lyrics. He invited me over and he was like, all right, let's smash out Forever High. He wrote Forever High in like 45 seconds himself. He's like, let's call it a day. And I was like, where are we? So he can definitely write lyrics easy.
Nice.
After 3 double IPAs, give me a
There
pen
you
and
go.
paper and I'll make something happen. Give me a bottle of whiskey. I'm good.
Nice. Here's an interesting question. Do you think it's harder being musicians in Adelaide or as I said, more central to West than East Coast, as opposed to, the East Coast cities and states? I know, as I said, living in Tasmania, it can be harder down here when it comes to touring, and much the same for bands coming over from places like WA and NT as well. We're very lucky we ever get anyone further up than New South Wales at times.
Yeah, I think so. I think getting people to buy tickets here before, 24 hours before the show is very difficult. And that also puts promoters on the back heel when they're nervous. So that's really difficult. I think when you go to Sydney and Melbourne, they do get out there and they're excited to go see live music. Sometimes it can feel like pulling teeth at times, but when Adelaide does get out, it is awesome. Everyone does make a night out of it. It's just getting them out.
Yep.
I'm sure it's probably the same in Tassie over there.
Yep.
But yeah, we've played Brisbane a few times. They seem to get a bit wild. So I haven't played Brisbane enough, I don't think, to judge them on that. So
No, definitely not. But yeah, I mean, like, probably, as Matt's saying, Adelaide is probably a little bit easier for Adelaide bands to get out there to Melbourne and Sydney compared to bands from Perth or NT. We are sort of that middle ground. So, 4 dudes in a car, absolute sweatbox, but you can get 4 dudes to Melbourne in under 10 hours for $200, essentially. So it's not like the end of the world financially to go to Melbourne a couple times during the year, flying over to, Brisbane and Canberra, where it's, $500 return sometimes
Mm.
each. That's when it sort of, starts to sort of pinch away at the wallet.
Well, that's like Perth for us because we were scheduled to go to Perth.
Yeah.
Then COVID hit, and then that huge gap. We finally got this album out, and you're looking at the tour cost just to get to Perth. It's quite expensive just to play. And we do it like we've always just played shows, but I don't think you're going there going, we're going to make a huge profit. So,
Nah, you go there just because you want to play Perth, so play
Yeah.
somewhere new, fresh eyes, fresh ears, and have a fun night.
for the love, brother.
That's it, for the love, for the music.
Very true. I got a couple of mates over that way. I go over every now and then. I love the place, but the travel sucks. And
Yeah.
like if I go over there, I go and I don't get a chance to see a lot of music, but I'm mates with Stu from Silent Night, so I'll go and watch a jam or something like that. And I know he does so much over there. And I've begged him to come to Tassie, and he's like pretty much tells me to get fucked. It's like, come on, man. It's and unless you can get that Mona Museum and all that money they've got that gets thrown over here with our Dark Mofo Festival and all this other weird shit that goes on, there's no chance because the costs are just huge. And I know from people like Chalky that used to sing for Psychroptic back in the day, he does some gigs. He goes out of his way to go to Adelaide at times when a lot of other promoters will skip both us and you guys at times, which I find really annoying and weird. If they're going to go to WA, what's the point of skipping Adelaide? That's just my view. But seems to happen a bit. But I can understand the costs. I'm simply just flying over. So taking gear and whatever else, I can't imagine. It must suck at times.
Oh, like just add-ons. Like I can't even I don't take my head unless we're driving somewhere. I got an orange OR 100. It's like 50 kilos. I'll be paying like $300 to get. It'd be like $300 to get that thing on a plane. It'd be more than me. It's like and that's the difficulty of touring. It's like we've all now got kind of portable heads, which has made it a lot easier. But when we first started out, I'm not sure they were like as prominent as they are now. So you're going over interstate and you're hoping someone has something similar sounding headwise to you. And then there's the whole comfortability act, but that's another story.
Having a real big tube head was cool and what you had to have back in the day, fucking 8 years
now dudes
ago.
are rolling in with a wallet size little box and
with a little thing this big. Dude, it's got a lot of punch. Okay. Mine weighs 20 kilos.
True. Have you guys played outside of Australia yet?
No, we haven't.
Okay.
There's been a lot of talk. I think we talk about it almost yearly. Dude, it's gonna happen this year. It's gonna happen.
We've talked about for an hour on Saturday.
Yeah. What the hell was that?
It's a rubber band. Thing with a rubber band.
Fucking hell. We talk about it a lot. We do. We go extravagant. We're going, oh man, month in America, a month in Europe, all the way to something a bit more realistic. Let's go to New Zealand. Let's do a bit of Asia, Malaysia, Singapore, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I think it's definitely still in the works and the talk. I think we're all pretty keen to do it sooner rather than later. The answer is no, but we are very keen to get out there and test our metal in other nations.
Nice. I always ask that question, especially with people who've, when you're recording music and especially stuff that I get sent for the radio, because you can imagine at times some of it's probably not good for radio. And you'll have a listen and you're like, I'll I shouldn't say this, but I'll play almost anything. I listen to some of the grooviest gore grind death metal shit that you've ever heard, but then I'll listen to something that's not overly produced, but it's well written and it's recorded properly. And you know, you guys are obviously putting effort in, and that's why I'll always sort of ask that question, because people listen, and you know, you never know who's gonna throw something your way or whatever, or if you guys are looking to try and do something, someone hears it, they, you know, put the option up.
Well, that's it. Because like the timing of our band, just as a whole, like when I moved into state, I was essentially flying back maybe every 3-4 months for a show, hoping
something like that.
And it's really difficult just to keep momentum to do that. But we put a lot of as much work as we could to, you know, keep it going. And now essentially, again, it's like with COVID and then being back here, essentially we've been hitting the ground past 3 years, I would say, and it's been pretty full on. So I'm definitely
and consistent, which is a good thing as well. Like, what was the last year? I mean, technically last year we did 2 Australia tours. One at the start of the year, one at the end of the year. So, you know, that was a lot of fun. Did Canberra twice, did all of that. And then the year before that, we did another Australia tour. So we've pretty much done, you know, gone around. And you're sitting there in Tasmania. Yeah, we've done Australia, man.
Just sounds like the Eastern tour. That's all
yeah. Sorry, sorry. One day.
Everyone that's asked us to play in Perth is going, fuck off.
But I've done Australia, brother. I've done
it. We're coming.
No, one day we'll do Australia.
Nice. Well, it's like I said, it's not easy. So you've played Steel Assassins. That's a bloody, you know, that's a big festival when it comes to Australian metal and metal in general in Australia. As I said, it's one of the biggest ones we've got down here. You've done some big shows and done some touring with international acts that have come over as well. Are there any standout moments? Probably not the question you want to hear or make a statement about, but there's always something that comes up with these sorts of shows where someone's like, oh yeah, this happened, or, you know, we really enjoyed this one. So it's sort of a question I like to throw
out. Opening up for Glenn Hughes in Brisbane, where we had no fallbacks the entire show, was a test of our mental fortitude.
Fortitude, baby.
That was nerve-wracking to all hell when you constantly go, hey man, there's still nothing out of my fallback. You're on. You have to start playing. Oh fuck.
The first band hopped halfway through the set, didn't they?
The first band hopped off early because they were just feeding back to all hell.
The crowd was, let's just say, restless.
It was very loud. And then we hop on. Hey man, all the fallbacks are busted. You need to start playing now. And it was just 3 dudes miming, essentially, in front of a drum kit. At least that's what it felt like from our end. It was obviously going out, but like all I could hear was a snare and a hi-hat, maybe a kick. And I was like, dear mother of God, if I get through this.
The thing that was Gar's second show, and the first band walked off because it was squealing. Like all you could hear was just squealing. Pretty sure the sound dude either left or he got fired in between the show as well.
Yeah.
Been there, seen that.
And when we were walking on stage, there were, let's just say it wasn't all positive coming from the crowd. And I think we could have either folded or rise up.
Yeah.
And we rolled with it. And I think it really like embedded us as a band. I was really proud of us that night because I was like, sweet, we can just roll with the punches. It's bad. Like we can't even hear ourselves. But because even with Gareth being so new, he knew his stuff inside out. So it wasn't freaking out or anything like that. It's just like, we know the songs, let's do it. And we got through it. So it was a lot of fun. And also just a moment on that, because that's my favorite moment as well, James in Queensland. But one of my other favorite moments was partying with Warwick Kappa at Cherry Bar.
Wow.
The Wiz was the man. He
Quote
was like,
unquote partying. She's going, Mr. Kappa, shaking his hand and getting a photo with him. Yeah, I partied with Warwick Kappa. All
we
right, buddy.
I drank with him.
That
And he
is
was just
classic.
like, and he was grabbing my hair and he was just like, see, mate, everyone wants their blonde hair like was. And I was like, let's go.
That's classic.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He walked into the VIP bit and he just yelled 747 coming through hot. And I was like, oh my God, I love this guy.
I could see that too. I could even hear it.
It felt movie-like when he walked in. It will not lie. I was like, oh
Jesus
my God.
Christ.
I love how like I'm talking to Glenn Hughes. I was like, hey Glenn, how are you? But Warwick Kappa was in my Jesus Christ.
I'd be the same. I can't say anything. I can't say I loved him when he was playing, but just I'm an Essendon supporter, so you know.
I was like, is that Matty Lloyd?
No, if you can get it's older than that, man. That is a life-size cutout that I've had since I was a little kid. I'm almost 40. That is Gavin Wanganeen.
Oh, Port Adelaide.
The baby bombers.
I think I got that in like 94, so he was fresh off the Brownlow medal.
Mate, I'm a Saints fan and I'm already hoping Messiah is re-signing and I'm hoping he doesn't pull an Uncle Gav. So.
Oh, that's classic. All right. Is there any upcoming shows you'd like to mention? Anything else you'd like to mention to anybody that's, if they haven't, they should be checking out your music. I've been playing you guys for a while now. Dicey's, pushed you guys a bit to me. And I will always listen to that, man. Absolute legend.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Realistically, man, there's no...
Well, we've got a few things in a work. But James and I, after 10 years of giving everything to the band, we are getting married. So we do need to give a bit of time to the end of this year to our lovely soon-to-be wives.
Nice.
So, yeah, there's probably going to be 3 months in this year where Matt and I aren't even in the country at the same time.
So end of the year is looking a bit sparse. We do have a few things hopefully towards really late in the end of the year. But realistically, next year, next year.
Start of year is the probably the current focus for like hitting it hard again, real hard again. Which it seems funny because we've just released an album. Why wouldn't we want to support it? It's purely like going back to your previous question, how long it took us to get this record out. We just didn't want to sit on it for another year. We were like, look, it's here. We've got it. It's all mixed. It's mastered. And do we want to wait another 6 months?
Yeah.
To go around another loop of the sun before we even just release it? We just went, nah, we gotta get this out. We want everybody to hear it. We want to hear it on CD, on vinyl, around everywhere, in people's cars, in people's houses, at work. So we've done that, and we gave everything for this album launch that we just played. And nice, good gig, good bands played. Nice venue, good venue at the Jive in Adelaide, Hindley Street. So now it's just going to be, a bit more of a focus on, maybe a couple more music videos. And as Matt's mentioned, next year we're just gonna get back on it, back on track, and hit some states. Hobart, Tasmania, maybe.
Definitely come down here. We've got some bands that'd love to play with you guys. I know Mountains of Madness would fit you as well. Sort of stoner rock sort of stuff. Bit of metal in there as well. I think that'd fit well. I think Shelvo's still living down here. I don't know if you've met him, but he's played in a lot of bands over there, thrashy sort of stuff. That'd fit.
I was going to say, tell Jono to reform Tablet.
Well, in the background, no, that side. I've got a picture there that he gave me. I used to do shows with those guys when they were still kids. But well, there was talks of something. I think they did like a one-off show, but I don't know if they're ever going to do anything again. I know he's still doing stuff, but I think Tom's more interested in working, and other members are doing other bands as well. Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd work so well. Well, I guess I'll let you guys go then. I should mention that everyone should check out Forever High wherever you stream music, or jump onto the Bandcamp, which I had a look at today. I'm assuming you guys are still doing the pre-orders for the bundles and stuff on there. And definitely get it. Get a CD, vinyl, and a shirt. It's usually what I do, and it's the way to go.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much, brother. Really
Thank you,
appreciate your
man.
time.
No worries
Thank
at
you
all.
very much.
Thanks for tuning in. This has been DJ Devil Pope with Dirty Pagans.